What's on your evil mind?
Hold your insulting tongue and mock my words well.
How about this rumor that you are really Iron Man, Mr. Stark?
Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Comic Book Chronicles. Got to figure out why that keeps cutting out. I am your host, Roddykat. You can find me at Roddykat on Twitter, Blue Sky, and all them other places. And you can also find me at CBCats on Instagram.
South Carolina with Columbia down the way.
And the sound effects you've heard come from none other than our man in Brooklyn, @agent_70 on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Skies, and Threads.
What's up, everybody? Co-hosting from the Borough of Kings, live and direct. Back to a somewhat regular schedule.
Brooklyn's finest.
I'm just a kid from Brooklyn.
Indeed. And yes, we are. Things are back to semi-normal, and hopefully it will stay that way for a minute. But if not, hey, you know what? We'll be here as we always tend to be here. And with that, folks, we are going to actually say that you can find this here podcast on the Cold Slither Podcast Network, that's ESPN.us.
Do it today.
You could also find us on your podcast perusal place of choice, whether it be Apple iTunes, aka Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the Cold Slither Podcast Network's SoundCloud page.
Make sure to click like, subscribe, and leave us all the positive 5-star reviews, especially on Apple Podcasts, because that helps people find our show.
Shout out to Von Gloom in the chat who says, Mr. SDCC has returned to Brooklyn, to BK.
Yes, I have. I do miss San Diego, though. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, if you missed the last couple of weeks of the show, then you know you can go back on his excursion out west with a friend of the show, aka the Nerd Father, one Matt Wayne 97, which actually is a funny story, real quick, to Agent 70. In where we're recording right now, he has his own permission. He has his own role in the Discord.
That's right.
Or at least he does now, because I put it in last night. All right, let me just go ahead and do this right now while I'm thinking about it. But anywho,
I did see that. I did see something like that. I was going to ask about it. That's funny.
Oh, nice. Yes. Well, more on the Discord stuff later on, though. Actually, Von Gloom, that is not true, because some of what happened in San Diego stayed in San Diego. The rest was on the podcast.
That's right.
The last couple of weeks. So
that's right. We did discuss a lot of what we did, of what happened in San Diego, but there's certainly stuff I left out for privacy purposes, we'll say.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, that kind of stuff. Yeah, no.
Exactly.
But yes, folks, we're going to just go ahead and get right into the show with our books of the weeks, or the books of the week, just this 1 week, actually. Starting off with Transformers number 23, the penultimate issue of Daniel Warren Johnson's run.
Transformers number 23, published by Image, is written by Daniel Warren Johnson, with art by Jorge Corona, colors by Mike Spicer, letters by Russ Wooton, and the one note I have for this issue is, it's kind of a spoiler. I'm not going to say it, but Roddykat and I, when we talked about this issue in our pre-production meeting, literally just now, was that they said it, right? And Roddykat will tell you his version of it, and ultimately, this is, as Roddykat said, the penultimate issue of Daniel Warren Johnson's run. So expect there to be a build-up, expect there to be fireworks, expect there to be hope for a payoff in the 24th issue. So, obviously with the expectation that the run will continue past issue 24. So, there's a specific type of payoff that we're looking to get next issue, and this issue does a very good job of building up to it. This is definitely a candidate for Click of the Week for myself. Roddykat, what did you think?
I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. It actually is my Click of the Week for this week.
There you go.
Just go ahead and put that out there right now. But yeah, Von Gloom already said the thing, and yes, that is the thing that said. I'm not going to repeat it, but I kind of agree with a couple of things that he does say. He's like, man, they make you really feel for Ultra Magnus. So we were talking about that also before the show, because this is basically like, hey, this is. So things have been, as Age of 70 and folks have said, the Autobots have been on their back foot this whole time. Prime's still on this vision quest into the Matrix, and they're leaving everybody else to kind of fend off for him and, against, and, to defend the humans that they have kind of with them. Wheeljack kind of comes in with a not necessarily a miracle, but, some would say he gives Prime a hand. Boom. But
yeah, right.
And on the other side of that, Megatron's is like, yeah, Starscream, you're spoiling my mood here. This is basically, to which if they didn't have that kind of relationship with each other, it just wouldn't be right. But I don't feel for Starscream at all. And I kind of agree with Von Gloom say he did need to be slapped around more. He kind of been slapped around a good bit within the last probably 3 or 4 issues, much less at the start of this whole run. So, a little bit more. A little bit more. As I've told, we get a little bit more with that new Transformer Shredhead, who got dropped in the worst possible place, but was still in a better place than the Autobots are at this point. Because he got sent back to Earth. Ultra Magnus does basically. I know the reason why Agent 70 doesn't agree with this, but and when I say what I'm about to say, you'll understand why. Else, if you've been around here long enough, Ultra Magnus does his best Captain America speech in a way, but not exactly in the way that Captain America would do a speech, because at least Captain America would kind of give some sort of hope. Right. Ultra Magnus was like, look, this is where we are. We're gonna go to. Things gonna. Everybody ain't gonna make it, but we gonna go down. We gonna do this kind of thing.
Right.
So.
I compared it to Commander Erwin Smith from Attack on Titan. Right. Roddykat doesn't get this particular reference because he didn't make it to the part of the anime where Erwin Smith makes this particular speech, which is like, well, we're charging into certain death and we're gonna do it, and enjoy doing it, and that's generally what was evoked for me. So.
Right. So, and I mean, and it's not like there haven't been speeches like that done probably, just actual in history and before. So it plays on a lot of things. So you kind of get it from somewhere, one way or another. So Von Gloom, I'm just going to say this right now. And I know you're not going to do it, but this is why I don't I don't have a choice sometimes, because, getting news, sometimes stuff gets spoiled for you like that. I haven't looked on any I haven't really looked much at anything preview wise for after 24 or into the next era, so that can stay exactly where it is, and we're good with that. Like I said, I know you weren't going to say anything, but we'll get there when we get there. That's why. So that's why even when I'm gathering the news, sometimes you kind of can't help but get spoiled on stuff because of the news. But at certain times, it's like, you know what? Nah, I'm not even going to bother to look at the images, because I don't want to. I'd rather see it when it gets here. But Von Gloom also says Starscream feels like the overeager little brother that always messes up. I feel like that's as a little brother myself, and I ain't gonna say I'm too. I always mess up, but as a little brother, I take umbrage with that.
Welcome, Benji Games. Good to see you.
Yeah, what up, Benji? How goes, good sir? Glad to see you here. But overeager, yeah, no. Starscream is just that annoying overachiever who thinks he knows better than everybody else. In one part, but that was when when Megatron wasn't around. So, and then he's like, "Oh no, wait." I think there's part of me that kind of is like, "No, Starscream is he's just messing up Megatron on purpose, basically." Because that's kind of how much of a hater he is. He's like, "No, I'm just gonna mess things up for him, and then blame it on him," and that's so and so. But everybody knows his game, so it's why he still does it. Nobody cares because they know him. So, and that's why no one likes him. But, or not, anyway, doesn't matter. Let's go too far into this. But regardless, Transformers 23, great issue. Yeah, hopefully, as Agent 70 said, and I have no doubt that that will be the case. The last issue of the Daniel Warren Johnson era will go out, with a bang, splendidly, I'm sure with a to be continued maybe, or maybe not probably, but it'll end in a way that's hopefully satisfying to folks that have been this long with the run, right. and go into the Kirkman era. I'm sure we'll probably actually see some stuff into the Kirkman era if everything that seems to be the case. Then yeah, we'll see then. But hey, we'll get there when we get there with the next issue. So unless you got something else to say about it, Agent 70.
No. I'm just gonna call on President Bartlett.
What's next?
Fantastic Four #2 is next.
Fantastic Four #2 is written by Ryan North with pencils by Humberto Ramos, inks by Victor Olazaba, colors by Edgar Delgado, and letters by our favorite lettering paisan, VC's Joe Caramagna. So I like this issue up until Ryan North throws us a curveball. Because all of a sudden, right in the middle of like the comeback, right? Don't call it a comeback. We've been here for years, literally, right? And then all of a sudden, Victor Von Doom is like, wait a second, I'm Sorcerer Supreme now, so you know what? Literally pulls back the track, right?
Right.
And rewinds.
Right.
And with that, I'll pass it off to Roddykat for his thoughts on the issue.
Yeah, he really does do a hold up. Wait a minute.
Yes.
The funny part about it is, it's kind of the funny part about it is, Doom was right about a certain part of what he said, and this is a slight spoiler because basically when things happen and the FF are back on the scene. And Reed Richards does what he always does, just goes to explain shit away. And
well, no, what he does is that he figures out how to win and then explains it. Right. That's the kicker.
But that's my point. Yeah, my point is
right.
Yeah, he's
right.
Like,
but he's not. What he's not used to. What he's not used to is the whole Sorcerer Supreme stuff.
Right. But that all aside,
which is kind of MCU-ified too here.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you think about it, he's like, well, he doesn't say it out front. He's just like, well, I have all this time stuff. I have the time stone. No, you don't, kind of, but we get it,
Yeah. So, but like I was saying, he goes into his explanation and Doom's like, oh, yeah, you know what? You're always quick to do this. So here's what I got for you. And then the rest of the thing, and then everything happens after that. But of course, this being comics, and the heroes still have an ace up their sleeve in a way, right. Which I'm kind of surprised wasn't just gotten rid of. But hey, nevertheless, you gotta kind of keep it pushing at some point, kind of kind of way.
Right.
So-
Because of the twist. This was a candidate for click of the week for me because I really appreciated that because you know I'll put the sound effect to what Roddykat said. It was like, wait, hold up, literally
There it
in the
is.
middle of the issue.
So that was like, yeah. So this would, if it wasn't for Transformers, this would have been, yeah, the one for me because it was a great read for that. It was like, read you, why would you do? And then finally,
Honestly, I didn't. Right. Honestly, I couldn't blame him to a certain extent because he's like, well, you know, this is what happens because I figured out how to win. And I'm like, all right, good. He figures out how to win. But then even I fell into the trap because I forgot that Doom has this extra, not this extra, all of these extra capabilities now.
Right.
And that's the difference that Reed forgot about.
And-
And that's the difference in the story. And Ryan North does a great job of saying, wait a second, this all could be wrapped up. No, it won't, because Doom still has several, he still has lots of strength in reserve, lots of powers and abilities in reserve that he still has not yet brought forth.
Right. Some would say also almost MCU leaning in what he uses. So
Right.
therein lies that. So yeah, I'm gonna get back to chat in a second because actually that's a very easy answer to Benji's question. So Benji Games 2. Well, first of all, Von Gloom says I missed the WWE moves. I guess that's from Transformers. Yeah. But Benji Games 2 asked, how do y'all feel about the new Transformers getting made by the original cast of Michael Bay? Well, you know, hang on. I had the perfect one set up, but I don't have it on me. Hold on. I have to change palettes.
I didn't know about that. I'm gonna have to take a look at that.
I have heard rumblings of that, and it's like, okay, come on. We don't need this. And I guess oh wait, no, hold on.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
Boo!
Now, granted, yeah, that's past that's the past tense version because I don't have the one that I really wanted to play, and that would have been like hated it. I do have it. I just don't have it on this on this sound.
Oh wait, I do. Wait, you want that one?
Sure.
Hold on. Let's see.
Hated it.
There it is. Thank you. Caused me a little bit of editing, but that's okay. We'll work it out. Also, while we're still in the chat, missed this issue. Is the Regiment porn stash gone? No. Bungalow also says that's a great shirt idea. Doom was right. I'm pretty sure that shirt's probably been out there for a while. Let's see. The reveal from last week's One World Under Doom disappointed Von Gloom. You know, it's not gonna be for everybody, but it's. Actually, I'll be honest. I totally halfway forgot what happened to that book at this point. But could see, yeah. So, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
Well,
I
you
could
don't.
also
I was
see
gonna say,
that,
you don't
but-
remember the citizens of Latvia are being tapped to.
Well, yeah, he mentions that.
become
Yeah.
like human power. So yeah.
Yeah, Von Gloom says he could see sacrificing other nations before using it. But see, the problem with that was that people would be like, wait, hold up. You know,
Right.
if they did not know what was going on and his place is all sealed up, no one knew what he was doing. Therefore, it's kept secret, and therefore, you know, people would have been up in arms. Well, most people, I would like to believe, would have been up in arms if they found out something like that was actually happening in their neck of the woods or elsewhere outside of where they can't see. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
that's kind of, so it makes sense why it was like that and not just out in the world. Thought the Beast War and Transformers 1 didn't do well enough for Paramount to continue more Transformers. Well, no, it's, I think what that was, and we'll move off of that like real quick. No, it wasn't. They basically are not funding. They're I think they're basically almost to the point like kind of like just licensing it out to let other people, if they want to still kind of do it. It wasn't just like, and it wasn't like Paramount actually. It was more Hasbro. Was this, so wherever it ends up landing studio wise, that's a whole situation. So it wasn't just that wasn't a Paramount thing, that was a Hasbro thing. And they were like, no, we still want more stuff to come out, but we're just not, going to handle it ourselves, basically, kind of situation. But anyway, back to books. But yeah, Fantastic Four #2, great read if you hadn't had a chance to read it. And our last book that we have in common is, oh wait, did I? No, I'm gonna make sure. Ultimates #15.
Ultimates #15 is written by Dennis Camp, with guest art by Von Randall. Colors are by Eric Arciniega, and letters are by VC's Travis Lanham. So what we get here is kind of the idealized version of the Iron Fist, the ultimate Iron Fist, kind of who we all sort of thought should have been the Iron Fist if there was no need to have multiple characters and there was no white savior problem in lots of storytelling.
Yep.
So we get here, like I said, this ultimate Iron Fist, which combines two characters and two mythologies from the regular Marvel universe and puts them together in the Ultimate Marvel universe, while still kind of bringing in, and Dennis Camp still brings in one element of the Ultimates and the ultimate of this version of the Ultimates and this version of the Ultimate Universe, in that the character that we know becomes the current day wielder of the Iron Fist makes his way into the story as someone who feels like they should have been here this whole time because of the machinations of the Maker. And that was pretty cool. We also get some real Hulk on Hulk violence that was extra graphic, but not so surprising for an Ultimates book, because that's kind of a trademark of the Ultimate Universe version 1.0, and now it's been brought over into 2.0. So ultimately we're still, we're maybe just a few steps away from, I guess, the final story arc of the of this version of the Ultimates, because I think we're almost at the end of the time period that they keep referencing. So I'll hand it off to Roddykat for his thoughts.
Right, because it's leading to that thing in December, the ultimate end, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, so we still have a couple of months or actually, to guess the way this book has been going, because this book came out like a couple of weeks ago, and I know that it may not necessarily be the regular schedule or whatnot, but it's been coming out quicker than per month that I can think of.
They might have needed a guest artist just to stay on a particular schedule.
Right. So so that's why we got that here. But yeah, so despite the fact that, well, first of all, Von Gloom says take that, Finn Jones. Yeah, sure, but the 616 wielder of the well, actually we got news on that later on also, but the person who would normally hold the Iron Fist, as Agent 70 said, it was definitely in the picture, and it almost felt like they was going back down the road to be like, well, okay, maybe I should get this, but it doesn't. Knowing how things have been going in this book could very well be a swerve, and I'm hoping that is the case, because even I say in my notes, like, wait, they're not really going to do what I think they're going to do, are they? But they could, but they might not. Who's in. I would appreciate it if they did not, because when I saw Danny, I was like, oh Lord, here we go. but like I said, there's no reason why things are going to happen like we think that it's going to. So, but yeah, the Ultimates was another, actually, this was a fairly decent book, for at least for stuff that I've read, with some good stuff, because this was a good story. Like, yeah, it was like, oh shoot, we got Shin-Chi.
Well, you could probably pronounce it Shin-Chi.
Yes, you could, but that's what. But that was the joke there. But either way, So yeah, we that whole story and everything was pretty great. Last thing I was going to say was I kind of want a She-Hulk Marvel, or at least this version of She-Hulk's Marvel Legend. I don't know if that's going to happen.
The Ultimate She-Hulk. I got you.
Yeah, especially the version that ends up showing up at the end of this book. But just in general, actually, there's a couple of couples I wouldn't mind. Couple of Ultimates characters I kind of wouldn't mind having a Marvel Legends of. Maybe they'll dip into that well somewhere in the future, but I don't think it'll be anytime soon. Not to be confused with Sten Key. Nice. Boom boom. But that being said, there is not much else to say about it. Like I said, that the main crux of it was that whole situation, and we'll see, where it gets to going forward. But that is it for the books that we have in common. Actually, wait, one more thing from the chat real quick. I guess that means no one held down Johnny and shaved his face. Yeah, no, that's not going away anytime soon. The only one who was going to do it was him, and he could have done it when he was stuck in the past, but he didn't, so he wasn't going to. It's here to stay. And with that, we are going to get to Rapid Fire.
All right, Rapid Fire review time. Here we go.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Do you want to go first this time, or because you have, believe it or not, this is one of the relatively few times that Roddykat has fewer books than I.
Nope, go for it.
All right, here I go. First up for me is Bring On the Bad Guys, Red Skull #1. The first story is written by Stephanie Phillips with art by Tommaso Bianchi, colors by Romulo Fajardo Jr., and letters by VC's Travis Lanham. The second story in this book, which is continuing the backup, kind of the second story of this series, the Bring On the Bad Guys books, is written by Mark Guggenheim with art by Michael Santamaria, colors by Dono Sanchez Almara, and letters throughout again are by VC's Travis Lanham. So this is an interesting story that I think is probably going to roll into either the rest of the Bring On the Bad Guys books or possibly a future Captain America book. There's this interesting cliffhanger-ish type ending to the main story, so I'm curious to see where this goes in the future. Next up for me is Daredevil #24. It's written by Saladin Ahmed with pencils by Jose Luis Suarez, inks by Oren Jr., colors by Jesus Bertov, and letters are by VC's Clayton Cowell. So this is, my understanding, the penultimate issue of Daredevil before it is canceled for probably a new #1 with a new creative team. And it is Saladin Ahmed kind of coming full circle back to the regular story after a bit of a sojourn into video game tie-ins, because there was an entire story arc that was kind of very reminiscent of The Last of Us, replete with a fungus-based enemy, and I was kind of happy that that's over, but unfortunately now the series is coming to an end. But what we're getting with the ending is kind of a back to basics Daredevil story, but also some really kick-ass art, pardon my French, by Jose Luis Suarez, who came into the second third of issue #23 and now takes over in full in issue 24, and the art is pretty freaking solid, right? You can still see him growing as an artist, but I was very much impressed by the art on this issue, from start to finish. Next up is Giant Size X-Men #2. The first story is written by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly, former guests of the Comic Book Chronicles, with art by Adam Kubert, colors by Laura Martin, and letters by VC's Clayton Cowles. The second story is by Jed McKay with art by Cafu, colors by David Curiel, and letters are by VC's Clayton Cowles. So I'll tell you that after all of the trips down memory lane with the X-Men going through all of the various time periods that Kamala found herself written into, at the end of this issue, things are not exactly put into the sand. You know, the toys are not exactly put into the sandbox or the toy box for the next character, for the next creator to kind of mess around with. We'll see what after effects, if any, come from this into how Kamala is treated. There is one bit that I think will have lasting effects, and that's what happens in the backup story. So it's the backup story, I think, that leads into, or at least tips off, where Kamala's story goes from here. So it's worth a read just for that. Next up is Spider-Man and Wolverine #4. It's written by Mark Guggenheim with pencils by Gerardo Sandoval. Unfortunately, it's not Kari Andrews, but Kari Andrews does provide a cover for this issue. Inks are by Gerardo Sandoval and Victor Nava. Colors by Brian Reber, and letters are by VC's Travis Lanham. Guggenheim is having a lot of fun going down memory lane in this issue, but also dealing with some of the current Spider-Man and Wolverine characterizations that are that are currently being portrayed and on display in other books, line wide, and seeing these two get together off of kind of playing off of the original Spider-Man and Wolverine crossover from 1980. God, that's got to be 86, 87 maybe. And other series in which they have teamed up over the years. This book seems to kind of tap into all of them, and it's a lot of it's just kind of a fun read. So I actually would recommend reading this. It does help to have that historical context when reading this, because there are callbacks and flashbacks to several issues or several stories that you may have to kind of hunt for back issues, or use our very favorite, our favorite tool, Marvel Unlimited, who's not a sponsor. And last but not least is X-Men #20. It's written by Jed McKay with pencils by Neto Diaz, inks by Sean Parsons, colors by Fair Cifuentes Sujo, and letters by VC's Clayton Cowles. So there are two things going on in this. Well, two is probably, too reductive. There are multiple storylines being followed in this issue because it's all leading up to the big crossover, which is Revelation, right? The crossover that's going to involve the heir of Apocalypse, Revelation, aka Doug Ramsey. We've seen the solicitations, we've talked about it on the news. That's where the X-Men stories are going, and this issue definitely serves as not a kickoff, because the previous Revelation issue was kind of the kickoff, right? The one issue of X-Men, I think it was the previous issue or two, that was a solo Revelation issue. This is kind of the this is definitely a lead-in to the whole Revelation event. So we'll see how that plays out. I don't know how sold I am. I'm not a fan of these big crossovers anymore. This is definitely me being just a bit.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
But I get why they're doing it. It's a bit of a play on Age of Apocalypse. I get it. Everyone's going to do their own take on like all the creators are always going to come to pitch meetings or character summits with ideas to do their own take on Age of Apocalypse and Utopia, so on and so forth. So I get that, but I guess what I'll say is in closing, at least for my rapid fire reviews, I'm glad that I'm not subject to the whims of like pulling things to be a completist. Like I'm no longer a completist when it comes to pulling comics, because I hated being a completist. So I pull what I like now, and that's it.
Oops. All right. Pardon me while I get something out of the pocket here. There we go.
Yes, I do agree. That cover is amazing. The Red Skull looks creepy as hell. That is by Lee Bermejo, who's a very talented artist.
Yes, yes, that was from the chat. Also, Fun Gloom says, "We Dougie is a villain. Kiss me kilt," which just reminded me of a book that I didn't get a chance to get around to, which was the Uncle Scrooge's Earth's Mightiest Hero, Earth's Mightiest Duck book that came out this week. Then didn't get a chance to check that out. But hey, maybe if I get around to it this weekend, it was worth it, I'll say something.
Yeah, referring to the chat, they did miss an opportunity to include "Don't Tase Me, Bro."
Oh, great. That's probably a good thing that they didn't. But for me, and I only have a couple of books, we start off with Star Trek Lower Decks number 10, written by Tim Sheridan, who is not the regular writer of the book. That would be Ryan North, actually. Art by Vernon Smith, colors by Charlie Kirchhoff, and letters by Clayton Cowles. Unless Tim Sheridan switched up like last issue, I'm not sure, because I better remember if I even read it. So this is a conclusion to what happened in the last issue, of which, again, I don't remember, but it's something to do with Tendi getting in trouble with the Ferengis and the crew of the Cerritos trying to help out any way they can, including bringing up rules of acquisition, one of which has them stalled for time, which has Tendi Mariner and the Captain Freeman attending a Ferengi soiree, and Mariner getting very comfortable with a certain Ferengi tradition, or outdated Ferengi edition. I'll actually address that in a second, because if you've watched DS9, there was one or two. But anyway, let's see. But yeah, basically, a deal has been made. Tendi ends up doing a thing, doing double duty, and ends up saving herself in the process, while ended up getting that double duty, and pretty much all is well that ends well. And of course, there was the usual Lower Decks shenanigans that happened all the same. So yeah, if you watch DS9, actually, Von Gloom, there was a female Ferengi, and that was Quark's and Rom's mom showed up a couple of times, played by, if I'm not mistaken, it was Andrea Martin. Yeah, that might be it. I can't remember. But regardless, she did show up a couple of times on DS9. There may have been a couple of Ferengi women show up elsewhere, but that is the one that I can think of right off the top of my head. Or the one or two times that right off the top of my head. I'm sure there's probably a Discovery or Strange New Worlds episode where they showed up, but who knows. Either way, the next book that I have, and the last book that I actually have, is the last book of this books, actually. New Champions number 8. So, and this is, again, like I said, the last issue of this book, written by Steve Fox, with art by Ivan Fiorelli, colors by Arthur Hesley, and letters by VC's Travis Lanham. So, as tends to happen with last books, you kind of got to, clean everything up and get everything. Normally what would happen, actually, but since this is a newer book with newer players and they really didn't have another volume or anything to come off of, they're basically just finished up what was going on in this issue, in this storyline, which was Helrune had been, whisked away by her quote unquote aunt, but come to find out that that's not necessarily the case. And of course, this quote unquote aunt had an agenda and has something to do with part of Helrune's name, and a very known, deity in the Marvel Universe. Of course, the team, her friends, have been following her, trying to find Helrune and get caught up. There's battles, and then there's, hey, friendship. We're all still here. We wouldn't leave you behind. This, that, and the other. And of course, things kind of end on a happy note, which you can read for yourself. As to, there was a couple of things I did I kind of left out. I did put it in my notes that the team pulled the launch pad McQuack, but that's synergy. Got to have a little bit of that. But yeah, that is it for new champions. Will they show up again somewhere else? Possibly. It is always a chance in situations like these. But that is it for that book, and that is it for me. Clicks of the week.
Alrighty, clicks of the week.
I've already said mine. It hadn't changed. Transformers 23. That's it for me.
Yeah, I'm just deciding between Transformers 23 and FF number 2. There's some good books for me out this week. I really like those two. Mm-hmm. I did have a good time reading Spider-Man and Wolverine number 4 and Giant Size X-Men number 2, but I think it really comes down to a race between Transformers number 23 and Fantastic Four number 2. I think I'm going to co-sign on Transformers number 23 and go forward, because that was a pretty good issue. I definitely I wish that Roddykat would revisit Attack on Titan just so that he would see what I meant by that Erwin Smith speech before a charge in Attack on Titan. But he kind of gets what I'm getting at, because the reason why he stopped watching is because of kind of like the same ethos in Attack on Titan is what is in Daniel Warren Johnson's run on Transformers, which is that pretty much no one is safe.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought to revisit it, and I still might, but also have found out some stuff that happens later on. Then I was like, well, I'm going to get to a point. If I do revisit, I'll wait till I don't remember that anymore and revisit. which is the thing I told Agent 70 about something else prior to the show about something else. So
right,
that's the thing with me. There's two things that'll get me to not watch a show, and that's overhype and being kind of spoiled on something that I actually kind of probably would have found out about later on. But that's a whole nother situation. We didn't get into that. Well, actually, three things, but whatever. Let's see. Oh, Von Gloom says, wait, they don't look terribly different from the male. Talking about Ferengi, so probably why they didn't mind. Yeah, but don't they have the obvious difference that that females of the species does have?
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not that different. So yeah.
Yeah, Attack on Titan is a little bit more bleak than Transformers. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Von Gloom, but yeah, at least from the perspective of the character, from the point of view that the way the story's being told is that no character is actually safe, and that's something that Roddykat said to me at the beginning of this Transformers run, where I had not yet read, I think it was the first 7 or 8 issues, right. And I jumped in pretty late, knowing that was kind of the direction of the storytelling.
Right. I mean, it's a trope, and it's an effective trope for reasons. I mean, hell, Walking Dead did it way years before this, and you can point to any other number of media that has done similar things, prior
right.
to this. So yeah, like I said, it's a trope for a reason. But yeah, that was Clicks of the Week, folks, and we are going to get over into the news section. But first, an ad read.
Our first ad read of the night is for Funko, Fun at First Sight. It's your home for exclusive collectibles such as their world-famous Pop vinyl bobbleheads, apparel including t-shirts, hats, and socks, and brand merchandise such as their custom DIY pop figures, art books, and skateboards. And now the listeners of the Comic Book Chronicles can enjoy 10% off your entire purchase while shopping at Funko. To place your first order with 10% off and to help keep our show free for you, go to our network website at cspn.us, that's cspn.us, then click on the Keep Our Podcast Free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down to the Funko link and place your order. When you get to the checkout, put in the offer code SHOP10 for your 10% off discount. Funko through cspn.us. Do it today. And now we get into the news.
Cinematic news, as we do about this time. Uh-oh, that wasn't, I should not have touched that. Why did I do that? There we go, we'll do that right now. Anyway, James Gunn to direct next movie in the Super Family, at DC Studios after Superman's success. So yeah, apparently, whatever that be, as far as, wait, was it already known whether he was the one writing Supergirl or not? I don't know. But regardless, whatever is to come next in the Super Family, in the DC universe or movie EU, whatever universe, I guess Gunn's gonna have his hands in that as well. Cause sure. Let's see. Gunn had previously said in various interviews during his Superman press tour that he was writing a new movie featuring David Corenswet's Superman in it, although he's always remained coy on whether it was a standalone Superman sequel or something else. And apparently this was confirmed during a Warner Brothers Discovery company earnings call with, of course, Zaslav. Who provided no clarity about the statement I said prior to that, opting to saying next movie in the Super Family, but it's news that Gunn will direct the movie in addition to writing the screenplay. He served the same role on Superman, and that ends the quote from Zaslav. And it goes into the numbers of which Supes is still making until we get to the next article, which is...
In a post on social media, James Gunn said Superman's home release is set for this Friday, August 15th. That's tomorrow as of this recording. He then indicated the movie will soon end its theatrical run by saying, or catch it while it's still in theaters. Okay.
Right. Which, yeah, usually means that, yeah, it's not going to be in there that much longer, which is usually the case. So, also, I would say, I know she's not going to see this, but happy birthday, cuz. Even though I already talked to her earlier. Whose birthday it was today. So yeah, it was, and we already saw, and I can't remember if you were here when Agent 70, when I did the story on the Steelbook of the physical version of Superman, and I think that might have been while you were in San Diego. But yeah, that stuff was already out there, so it's not no big surprise that this was on the way and whatnot. It's just weird that movies are going digital way earlier than they used to, but then again, it's also weird that that movies have a digital release at all,
Right.
So, next up though.
Right, which means it'll hit HBO Max, relatively soon afterwards.
Correct. I think it's like either a week or 2 weeks. I can't remember if they're still holding on to that.
No, it might be a month, but yeah, it won't be long.
I thought it was, because I thought once it hits digital for sale, it was like a couple of weeks. I guess you're probably right though. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So yeah, there's a four-part animated series starring Crypto, not cryptocurrency, Crypto, the super dog. We should point out. That was released on YouTube actually today as of this recording. Let's see, the 5-minute animated short film was released on YouTube to help usher in Superman's impending arrival on digital platforms. It will be included as a animated series for all who purchase a copy of the movie of Superman's movie when it becomes available digitally on August 15th. Release date or physically on its September 23rd, 2025 release date. So it's going to be in the physical version also. It's just here now. And it is, and the shorts are called Crypto Saves the Day, School Bus Scuffle Animated Short. So yeah, there you go. And you can, like I said, check that out on, that is the name of the first of the DC shorts. But and the rest of them have been named in this article, but we don't necessarily need to go into that. But you can check them out on YouTube if you feel so inclined. Next up,
the latest episode of James Gunn's Season 1 Peacemaker podcast has revealed some interesting news about a potential return for actor Chukwudi Iwuji, who played the no-nonsense mercenary Clemson Mern in the first season. So yeah, basically it's because what's happened is there's going to be some inconsistencies with what is current DCU canon and what is not, because the short answer seems to be that anything Gunn made, the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, is part of the new canon, minus a few inconsistencies because Jason Momoa's Aquaman and other members of the Justice League who made appearances in that season of Peacemaker, but now that doesn't count anymore because Momoa's already been recast as Lobo, and yada yada, right? So now what he said is that they might make the Clemson Mern character canon to the DCU universe, but the catch might be that Chukwudi Iwuji might be cast as another character.
right?
So someone else might be playing Clemson Mern. That's really what it boils down to.
Also, it's funny to hear the name Clemson because that is a town here in South Carolina, and also a college football team. But hey,
Right.
it's funny. Y'all, my apologies for anybody watching the video version because you might be seeing me do something that I probably shouldn't be doing because I think I might have talked about this already. But we'll see where we get to that point. Next up, the Batman 2 script. This is a report. This is, rumor, speculation, all that kind of good jazz. The Batman 2 script reportedly features Robin and is said to be, quote, a big swing for director Matt Reeves. So, according to some rumor site, the script is getting worked on. The movie will reportedly start filming in spring 2026 ahead of its fall 2027 release. And then it goes into a little bit of Robin's history and a little bit of Batman, excuse me. Got to say because, it's that thing.
My God, it's not gonna come out until 27. My goodness.
Correct. But hey, that's okay because you have. I'm just kidding. You really don't have anything to in the meantime. But anyway, I mean, hey, the movie is that first movie was 3 hours long. I'm sure you can hold that off, and you got the Penguin.
Well, I was gonna say we got the Penguin.
Yeah. Well,
wait, did you ever watch the Penguin? You did watch the Penguin,
I
right?
still hadn't watched neither one of those, honestly.
Oh man.
So, but that which brings me to which is why I was mentioning the joke I was mentioning was like, yeah, you got that to tide you over until this happens. Yeah. So, regardless, that's that. Next up.
DC's Lanterns adds one more to the cast, and we know who they're playing. So, let's see here. According to a report by Deadline, Carrie Christopher has been added to the cast and will have a recurring role in the 8-episode season, playing a character called Young Noah. He's described as a polite and charming small-town kid. Yada yada. Okay. I don't know who that kid is. Where's my guy Karath?
Who?
Thank you.
Well, I want to say they're saying we know who he is because like we have a name and whatnot. I don't think this person's supposed to be someone of significance, I suppose, or maybe he is, and I don't know. But because when I read it, I was like, okay, so yeah, because usually when we get scrolls like this, like this person's cast, but we don't know who he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
So young Noah, sounds like a rapper, but doesn't sound like he is. Anyway. Because every other rapper is a young something these days. And that's why they suck. Look up in the sky. It's an 18-foot statue of Superman. So, there is... Wait, it's an 18-inch. That's 18 foot. Yeah, that was right. Let's see. Talks about the history of Superman's... whatever... So she in Cleveland on August 2nd of this year dedicated a new Siegel and Schuster Superman Plaza downtown. It's located in front of the Huntington Convention Center at the corner of if y'all know where it is, y'all know what it is. It's giving a lot of information. The plaza features an awe-inspiring 9-foot statue of Superman flying, mounted atop a 18.5-foot pillar. And of course, you see a bunch of Superman nerds and taking a picture in front of her. And I say that as a nerd myself, but I'm just but if you're watching the video version, you can definitely see what I'm talking about. So yeah, it also features a life-size sculpture of Siegel and Schuster, as well as Joanne Siegel, the original model for Lois Lane, and later Jerry's wife. There's also a replica phone booth containing Clark Kent's discarded clothes, and that's fun. Let's see. Yeah, so that's that. So if you're in Cleveland and happen to be near that plaza, you can go check it out and take crazy pictures for yourself. Next up,
Hunter Doohan, who plays Wednesday's monstrous villain Tyler and serial killer Muse in Daredevil Born Again, was asked to compare the secrecy surrounding Netflix and Marvel productions, and he basically said, in this in this interview, he said, talk about Netflix being kind of tight-lipped. Marvel is that times 1,000. Okay, we kind of knew that one already.
I mean, yeah. Okay, that's all I wanted to know. But I mean, it was also, I guess this article kind of goes further and say he did not know who he was auditioning for when he went up for the role of Muse, from what it sounds like. And I think that was the kind of the, he said, the quote is, I didn't know the character. I think I might not have even known the show when I first did the audition. And then it was only when I got the offer to do it, when I found out everything that was actually going to happen. And then a doom call and da-da-da-da-da. So yeah, that was kind of the thing. I honestly, if that name sounded familiar, I went to go see if it was, and it's not. I thought they might have had some relation to James Doohan of Star Trek fame, and was not.
Right. I mean, I only vaguely recognized the character, the face from Wednesday after I saw the first 4 episodes of season 2 of Wednesday this past week. So
sure. Marvel's Vision Quest recasts a major MCU character with Star Trek Picard's fan favorite, which yay. So Friday, the voice of Friday, was previously voiced by Carrie Condon, who recently starred in Skeleton Crew, apparently was also in the F1, and yada, yada. What the heck? Okay, anyway. Let's see. And then the Costa news. But the person that we are talking about here and right now... also, actually, it looks like a couple of people, apparently. Because Todd Stashwick, who was also in Star Trek Picard, is apparently playing Paladin. Paladin, folks.
I won't say who because I know who the character is.
Yes, but the fact that we're getting that deep of a cut is funny. Let's see. He also confirmed who will be playing another. Oh yeah. So and also Orla Brady, who was who's basically Picard's boo, Romulan boo in Picard, will take on the role of Friday, which was what I was originally getting to. So that's cool. Glad to see her out there, even if it is, as I assume, voice and probably an AI face. But yeah, it's kind of funny also seeing that Todd Stashwick has been in a couple of different things that I've realized he was in, or finally realizing he was in, playing a somewhat similar character. But anyway, next up. Oh, I'm glad you got this one.
Disney and Lucasfilm settled a lawsuit with Gina Carano, who had previously accused the studios of discrimination and wrongful termination over her firing from The Mandalorian. In a statement, a Lucasfilm spokesperson said, "With this lawsuit concluded, we look forward to identifying opportunities to work together with Ms. Carano in the near future. Please don't. We have reached an agreement with Gina Carano to resolve the issues in her pending lawsuit against the companies." It added, "Ms. Carano is always well respected by her directors, co-stars, and staff, and she worked hard to perfect her craft while treating her colleagues with kindness and respect." Okay, that's what all the lawyers say. Well, that's what the lawyers told you to say. Carano said in a statement that the deal is the best outcome for all parties involved and her desires remain in the arts. Terms of the settlement announced on Thursday were not disclosed because that's how lawsuits get settled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fuck that chick. Next up, though, Ewan McGregor confirms a Star Wars urban legend about Obi-Wan's duel with Darth Maul being slowed down. Apparently George Lucas was worried about it for some reason. I'm like, I guess. So the quote is, "When me and Ray did that fight, George overcranked," McGregor said via Collider. "We used to shoot on film, and you can just adjust the speed that the film's going through the camera. If you want it to be in slow motion, you can make the camera run really fast so when you play it back, it's in slow motion." So I remember him saying they're going too fast. Slightly overcranked the camera, so they overcranked the camera to make it slightly slower because me and Ray were so fast during the fight. He was worried that people wouldn't believe it. So that was the case right there. Like, okay, sure. Yeah, no, there's a comment I can make, but I won't. Next up, though.
Lucasfilm has denied Ewan McGregor is making a Star Wars return as Obi-Wan Kenobi in Ahsoka Season 2 after a misquote set social media on fire.
Hold up!
So I saw that, and I was like, wait a second. So Ewan McGregor's coming back. Good. I guess not.
Right.
Because Ewan McGregor is not returning as Obi-Wan Kenobi in Ahsoka Season 2. A quote taken out of context sent the Star Wars fandom into a frenzy over the weekend, but Lucasfilm has now shut down the rumors as McGregor's real comments have finally been clarified. Yeah, he made an appearance during Fan Expo Boston 2025. Let's see here. So at Fan Expo 2025, he says his favorite Star Wars installment that he's not a part of, he chose Ahsoka, partly because of his wife, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who plays Hera Syndulla in the Disney Plus show. He says, quote, "Well, I like watching my wife." He's not the only one, so he really enjoyed Ahsoka. I thought that was brilliantly done. It's so funny. Like, she's shooting the second season now, and I know, is that a secret? Okay, Yeah. So apparently some fans misheard him and posted an incorrect version of this statement online, implying he would be starring in the upcoming season of Ahsoka. Okay.
Wait, fans getting something wrong? That never happens. Weird. Taking something out of context and getting something wrong? Weird. So Von Gloom, the next season says the next season of Mando should be interesting, seeing her views and Pascal's views. That doesn't necessarily mean she's going to be in the next season of Mando or be anywhere near that show. You know, they didn't necessarily write her off the show anyway, but they just kind of put her somewhere else. So, and if anything comes up that where that character should come up, maybe they may and maybe they might. But yeah, that'll be interesting, I suppose. Anyway, Mark Hamill returns to Star Wars in Lego Rebuild the Galaxy, and it is apparently, let's see, in the sequel series Pieces of the Past, the story picks up right where the 2024 hit left off, bringing fresh twists to a galaxy far, far away. And this time, one of the galaxy's most iconic actors make a thrilling return. So yeah, Mark Hamill's voicing Luke again in this Lego thing, and a couple other people are also there. So there you go. That's the main crux of the story. Next up,
from Deadline, Mason Dye from Stranger Things and Kiki Lane from The Old Guard 2 are set as series regulars in The Boys' upcoming prequel Vought Rising for Prime Video. They join stars Jensen Ackles and Aya Cash, as well as other previously announced regulars Will Hockman, Elizabeth Posey, Jordan Meyerly, Nicolo Pacetti, Ricky Staffieri, and Brian J. Smith. Big collective.
Who?
Vought Rising is a twisted murder mystery about the origins of Vought in the 1950s, the early exploits of Soldier Boy, and the diabolical maneuvers of a soup known to fans as Stormfront, who is then going by the name Clara Vought. Okay.
yeah, crank that. Some of y'all will get that reference.
Nah.
Anywho's, Nintendo announces Mario Claymation show as a part of a new kid-themed My Mario product line push. Yes, this is not comic book related per se, but I'm pretty sure there's probably some Mario comic books out there somewhere. The new Claymation, it's that this new show is going to be on YouTube. This series will be about 1 minute in length, which will launch alongside a new major push by Nintendo for the kids product market with a range of toys, picture books, and more released under the My Mario banner. So guess what? More Nintendo merch, folks, as if there wasn't a whole hell lot of it already. Notably, this range includes a set of wooden blocks that you can use as amiibo figurines. Other products on the way including, you know what, there's a lot of Mario merch. We don't need to go through all of that again. But yeah, more and more Mario merch. And next up,
New Line has enlisted screenwriters Ben Zazov and Evan Turner to write a Space Invaders movie inspired by the classic Taito arcade game Deadline has learned. Really? Space Invaders.
Oh yeah, considering there has been rumblings of an asteroid movie that's still floating around. Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. Still no word on specifics though, so we'll be on the lookout for it apparently.
Yeah. Nintendo put Mario's life in shambles by saying Peach and him were never. Yeah, I saw that. That was funny. Actually, he put fans' lives in shambles by saying that because people swore up and down that they were together. Which, I mean, there's nothing to say that was said otherwise. Either way, a Space Invaders movie. That's wow. Beyond the graphic novels, Butterfly's Daniel Day Kim on riding the K-Wave and pretending to be Superman. So, I guess I did that. The Lost in K-Pop Demon Hunters alum also debuts exclusive clip of his new spy series coming to Prime Video. He basically said that, he says when he was a kid, he loved Superman so much that he injured himself jumping out of a window. I mean, there is a silver version of Superman he could very much play. We're just saying. But also, you know Daniel Day Kim, Saints Row, Lost, 24, Avatar: Last Airbender, which Agent 70 still hasn't watched, and now K-pop Demon Hunters. So basically, he said he's decided to teach himself how to fly at 6 years old by leaping out of a window sill of his New York apartment. The adventure left him bloodied to the point where his father had to stitch up Kim's chin without anesthetic. quote, I still carry my homage to Superman to this day, pointing to his chin. That spirit of adventure is part of what led Kim to his new Prime Video series Butterfly, a spy thriller in the mode of J.J. Abrams' Alias, based on the Boom Studios graphic novels. There we go, tie. In the show, both Kim's character David and his fictional daughter Rebecca, Raina Hardesty, are caught up in a world of covert organizations, high-stakes action, international locations, and lots of family drama. And, of course, you can check out a clip from it in this article if any of that sounds interesting to you. Next up.
Crunchyroll and Delta Airlines announced a partnership Monday to offer anime as part of the in-flight entertainment on the airline. The anime edition is set to arrive later this year, and Delta passengers will be able to stream content handpicked from Crunchyroll. Sky Miles members will receive an exclusive perk of a 24-hour free trial of the streaming service that can be used aboard, editors, aboard the flight or after touching down. Yeah, that's cool. I guess, if you forget to save a couple of episodes to your iPad or something.
Right. Like if you don't already take care of that situation before you even leave the ground, then I guess you got something.
I mean, I'll tell you the truth. Like on my flight back from San Diego, on my way home, I actually watched 2 in-flight movies. I should have tried my best to sleep, but I watched 2 in-flight movies as opposed to watching the stuff I saved to my iPad, because I was like, you know what? Let me see what's here, and I decided to watch those instead.
Do you remember what they were?
On my way back, I watched. On my way to, I watched Paddington in Peru, which was fun.
Okay.
On my way back, I want to say I watched like some more serious, like drama type movies, like grown-up movies, obviously. Right. The titles escape me, but I'd have to do a little bit of sleuthing to piece it together. But they're all recent movies, none of the old things. I did watch, believe it or not, I actually did watch most of Good Will Hunting on my way to also.
Interesting. Yeah, I was always curious about what they have on those flights. And I know they've gotten, like newer stock on there. I don't remember the last time I was on a flight to watch a movie long enough to where that could happen. But
right, yeah, like if you're flying from one coast to the other, that's when you're gonna have time to watch like full movies.
Right.
Right.
Let's see. Von Gloom says, talk about the stuff that came, the video that came after the Mario. Yeah, I saw those also, but I didn't engage. Also asked, does Daniel Day Kim age? That Mother Flower looks younger than me. Hey,
Yeah.
I was gonna say Asians don't crack, but that's not always true. But hey,
No. It's not. No. It's not that they don't crack. They don't raisin. That's the part. That's the one that rhymes.
There you go. Thank you for that. He actually jumped out the window, and hey, that is not a surprise because that is not the first or the last person of a certain vintage to have done something of that sort.
No. That is an old story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not by a long shot. So that's not a big surprise. Anyway, but now that we are squarely into Anime Corner, let us move on with Evangelion 1. Oh Jesus. Oh yeah. Anyway, 1.11 and 2.22 Blu-ray pre-orders discounted at Amazon. So these are the 2 movies that they had to do because people were like, "What the heck is this ending?" And I don't know what's going on. This ending is not an ending, or whatever. Evangelion is real craze. So they made these 2 movies, and now they're getting Blu-ray editions on October 21st. Let's see, and they're up for pre-order now. So. And you can go and check that out, as well as, I guess, any other number of Eva stuff that is probably on sale at the same time. Good luck with that. Next up, my mom would have busted my iris if I tried to. Yeah, same. But anyway, next up.
I was about to say, how could you not have tried that as a kid? Maybe not from the windows. Like I definitely did it from tied a towel around my neck and jump from like a high shell, from like the top of a dresser or something onto the bed.
From probably 3 or 4 steps high. I think that's probably the highest I've done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
or
definitely
from the
tried to
bottom
jump onto something cushioned,
Right. So,
All right, One Punch Man Season 3 anime unveils Garou visual. The long-awaited sequel begins airing this October ahead of an October 2025 broadcast. One Punch Man Season 3 continued its run of highlighting mysterious beings with a new visual centered on hero hunter Garou, illustrated by character designer Ryusuke Shirokawa. Thank you.
yeah. Yeah. That's still on the way. This is by the by, in case you hadn't.
All right.
Yeah. Vangam says, only tied a sheet around my neck. Didn't want to find out if I effed around. Yeah, and that's fair. You had reverence, and that is fair.
Right. Like I said, I only jumped on a bed, so I had a definite appreciation for landing on hard surfaces.
Right. Exactly. Like, I ain't crazy. I wasn't doing off out of no damn window. But definitely a bed or like, a couple of steps up where I know I could catch myself. But anyway, despite Demon Slayer Infinity Castle making millions in Japan, Sony says its anime business is only getting started. It's a phase roughly equivalent to the period between the launch of PS1 and PS2 because of course, that is their reference. Their reference citation. Sure. Okay. Yeah. And yeah, it talks about how Sony even got into the video game business in the first place, because little known fact, they partnered with Nintendo for a CD thing, and they was like, nah. And then it was like, well, we'll do it ourselves. In case folks did not know, but that story's wide. But yeah, sure. That's the thing about that. Is there any more actually about Demon Slayer in this, outside of the fact that it's making money in Japan? And the answer to that is no. Next.
Listen, it's a month away. Hopefully we don't have to do movie protocol for it. Maybe it's a Wednesday release or a Friday release for us. We'll see, but we'll keep you guys posted. All right.
Yeah. All that. Next up.
Alrighty, next up. Looks like this was just put in.
This might have been. If I apologize if this was something from either a couple of weeks ago or from last week, but hey, I just wanted to throw this out there.
All right. Angel's Egg. Angel's Egg, the 1985 science fantasy anime movie from writer-director Mamoru Oshii, Ghost in the Shell, and artist Yoshitaka Amano, is coming to movie theaters this November with a new director-approved 4K remaster, courtesy of distributor G Kids. The re-release will be a rare chance to see Angel's Egg, that is, on the big screen. The film was originally released directly to home video in Japan. Okay. It'll be the first time it's been screened widely in North America.
And actually, it wasn't. This was about Ghost in the Shell, which I talked about a little bit. I think they were doing a rescreening or something. But yeah. So yeah, this is different. Next up, though, you know what? Why don't you take this one?
Scrolling. Alrighty. This is funny. So Attack on Titan's first role-playing game will let fans write their own ending. So Italian publisher Panini Comics is teaming up with developer Need Games to produce the first ever official Attack on Titan tabletop role-playing game, announced at Gen Con 2025 just recently, and now confirmed through a news release. The yet unnamed game will allow fans and players to step into the dramatic world created by Hajime Isayama for his award-winning manga, adapted into one of the most popular anime of the last decade by Wit Studio and Studio Mappa. Let's see. The game will be published in several languages and countries, and it will be based on Need Games game system Year Zero engine. Okay.
Yeah, not familiar.
Yeah, listen, you got me, but apparently they've got a history of winning gold medals, apparently, in the gaming industry.
Mm-hmm. Apparently. So,
So
now you too
all I
can get
gotta,
your
yeah, I was about to say, all I gotta do is say, okay.
Yeah. And also, I guess in the video that is on here for the trailer for it is voiced by Aaron. So there you go. Next up, though, so most popular Gundam design gets the metal robot Daimashi, spine policy, Troy treatment. Yeah, it's getting late. Fan favorite RX-93 new Gundam from Char's Counterattack will be getting a metal robot Daimashi toy this early next year. So if you know anything about that toy line, it's a spinoff from the mainline robot Daimashi branding. And you guessed it features toys with a lot of die-cast in their construction. It's a lost art. Moreover, the spin-off line tends to do lesser-known designs or non-animated variants, such as the Re-GZ Gundam or the Gundam Hazel, which both of these toys being also entirely excellent according to this article, apparently. So apparently these are high-end detailed sculpts, and this the article writer loves this line. So there you go. I guess you expect that from a Forbes article. So yeah. If you are,
So is that the model I need to build next, the RX-93?
If you like it, I mean, it's if you like it.
It's got lots of guns and a shield.
Mm-hmm. I've seen Char's Counterattack, and I vaguely remember this, but that's just me. So, that's just me. Like I say, I can think of other. So, Von Gloom, I don't know if you were here or you caught up on last week's episode or not, or last couple of weeks' episode. Agent 70 is now into Gunpla. Heavy.
Well, I definitely will say that that's a bit of an overstatement.
It is.
What I'll say is during my visit to San Diego, I took a break from the show floor and took a Gunpla building class, basically that Bandai sponsored. You get a free Gundam model kit, and you get like the most basic schmasic regular schmegular Gundam, like the OG RX, was it 78 or whatever?
RX 78, yes. Mm-hmm.
Right, and it's like the cheapest one that you can get, but it's still like a $20 model. You get it for free, and you build it. Basically sitting. You sit down and you build it. And I sat down and built it. I'm like, oh, okay, so it's obviously one snap together, so it's not as hard as it could be, but it's still fun, and it was very relaxing. As a cool little snap together model kit. So I definitely am looking for my next Gundam build. I'm looking forward to like going into I might do it on Sunday, just take a walk around and scout out some new model kits that I might be interested in building.
Right. And
I don't know if I'm going to end up needing to buy like little nippers or getting whatchamacallit. I don't know if you need glue for any of these things, but we'll see.
You will.
Oh no, I will. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, and also, of course, as we found out, the nerd father, friend of the show, Matt Wayne 9097, knows a guy.
Of course. Like we're both whatchamacallit, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon connected to this guy. He's more directly connected, but I know I have a feeling I would recognize this person as well.
Right. Von Gloom also says Angels with Eggs caught his eye. Probably will watch the re-release since he's never saw it in first time around. I'm not familiar with it. Also says that I've been watching Gunpla customized build videos on YouTube. I have also dipped into that every now and then, but yeah, it's kind of amazing. He also says I'm amazed by how they mod them and create stuff like Centaur Gundam or Shiva Gundam with 6 arms. Yeah. Do they have any G Gundam? I would imagine they do have some like G Gundam kits out there. They would have to at this point. Those would be the crazier ones for Agent 7 to get into. But
oh my
anyway.
goodness. Alrighty, next up, our next story is the list of the 2025 Harvey Awards nominations. Those were announced. There's a long list here that you can check out this comicsbeat.com article. All of the categories and all of the candidates, the nominees for these, categories that include Book of the Year, Digital Book of the Year, Best Children's Book, Best Young Adult Book, Best Manga, Best International Book, so on and so forth.
Sadly, the one that I can safely say that we both know is the one entry in Book of the Year, and that's Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 1 by Hickman and Chichetto. Not to say that we may or may not have heard of any of those stuff, but let's face it, there's a lot of stuff on this list we usually don't. And actually, as I'm looking through this list and seeing if there's anything else familiar really quick. Windbreaker, okay. Witch Hat Atelier, sure. Oh, here we go. Best adaptation from comic book graphic novel. We got Agatha All Along. Fantastic Four First Steps, Superman, The Penguin, and Thunderbolts. Oh, and also Daredevil Born Again. Boop the Musical, which I guess is based on Betty Boop. So there you go. All of those are in that one character. I feel like it's not a necessarily stretch, but I can't imagine who's going to win for that. But yeah, that's the list. We'll find out at some point who the winners are. Actually, does it say when that actually? Oh, that's going to be at New York. That's right. I forgot because they have So come New York Comic Con, we'll find out who won. Next up, though, Archie Comics Classic Digest format gets a shake-up. I saw some rumblings of this recently, and I was kind of curious as to what that is. So this talks about that Kevin Smith's Archie book that came out fairly recently. Let's see, Archie was distributed to comic stores by Diamond, but also later moved to Luna. Yeah, we heard all about that. Maybe it was... So I guess some of this is kind of also speculation because, because we're not really sure what's going on with Archie Digest. I've seen some rumblings to where that particular thing might be not going to be on newsstands anymore, which I don't know about you folks. The Archie books and the digest they're in were one of the first comic books I've ever read. Ever. Right. So that's a piece of history that if that is the case, man, that's we're losing recipes as a person might say. Let's see, and presumably at $9.99 Archie Digest is still a last resort for talking about all of that. But yeah, so sounds like something's going on with the digest line, whether it's going to be on the newsstands or anymore or something else. Then yeah, that sounds like a thing that might be still in flux at this point, according to this article or whatever it is, because I'm not really sure what's going on with it. Next up. Oh, Vine Gloom says you need glue, filing tools, clipping tools, fancy painting tools. They mix and match. That's for custom builds, but I guess having that stuff for in general. Because yeah, I think you do need glue for, especially a lot of the higher end builds to even with the ones without articulation for things, and of course paint and whatnot. But anyway, next up.
Yeah, I'm not there yet, guys. So. One more hobby to hold off on, right?
And if you I was about to say, and if you're getting older, probably a nice size magnifier, one of which I kind of have anyway.
Got it. Oni Press announces a new horror mystery series, Crownsville, which is a brand new miniseries from award-winning publisher Oni Press. Debuting in November with a double-sized first issue, this grim and disturbing supernatural thriller comes from writer Rodney Barnes, who did Philadelphia, so big up for him. Mm-hmm. And up-and-coming artist Alia Bonetti, inspired by the real-life horrors of the notorious Maryland psychiatric hospital that preyed upon the black communities of Jim Crow-era Annapolis for decades. A real-life The 5-part series explores a terrifying modern-day mystery rooted in the hospital's tragic past. The real hospital actually closed in 2004, after decades of controversy and despair. Okay. Yeah, no, Rodney Barnes will deliver, a pretty chilling story. Let's see here. So we have a preview here at the end of this article, looking for pricing and actual release date, but I guess not.
If you, like me, are hip hop minded, you heard the name of that of the title, and basically went into M.O.P. Brownsville. But yeah. Next up, though, I'm sure Rodney Barnes probably did also. Chris Claremont isn't sharing his X-Men from the Ashes pitch because he still hopes to do it one day, someday, in some way. So apparently, yeah, Claremont probably he had a pitch for After the Ashes, or From the Ashes, excuse me. And yeah, that was the thing. Quote, I always have fun with these characters. I mean, that's the whole point. If you're not having fun, why are you writing them in the first place? Which, hey, good point. The thing is, when I wrote the Fantastic Four back before the turn of the century, Stan Lee had been off, stopped writing the book 30 years earlier, and I wasn't hanging around the office looking over people's shoulders, and I had no desire or intent to do anything that would hurt his feelings. So I was just there to have fun. I would mess up the team, but I would put it back together again when the story was over. The writer continues, I would love to have a chance to fool around with the X-Men, and I feel like that's again. There should be an again after that. But so yeah, that was the quote from Claremont, and then it goes into some other stuff. So Von Gloom says hospital spooky as hell. I work at one during the graveyard shift. He asked Claremont, how many years do you have left? You're like 70 something. Why keep it a secret? Because he wants to be able to do it. That's the point, man. I'm like, why would he give it away if he might have the chance to do it again? I mean, maybe he's already got it out. Ever got it scripted and just hadn't done. Marvel hadn't pulled the plug on it, put it up there yet. We don't know. Anyway, next up.
Unveiled to retailers during San Diego Comic-Con, Marvel has tapped a best-selling artist in Hyuk Lee for a bold new line of street verse variant covers, reimagining iconic Marvel characters in sleek tech-wear-inspired fashion, hitting select issues this November, including the launch of a yet-to-be-announced title. Okay.
Not gonna lie, there's a couple of these I wouldn't mind seeing as figures.
Yeah.
The Spider Gwen fit is kind of already close to something they already got. The Black Panther fit, Storm, She-Hulk. Actually, the Doom fit is not bad, but it's not off of what he would normally wear anyway. Just
right. It's just a slight alteration. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, there's a couple of the Psylocke one even actually doesn't look that bad, but that's just like she's in gear. But again, these are variant covers that we'll see at some point soon. Next up, though, the Undead Iron Fist. We talked about, told you who's going to come back to this. The Undead Iron Fist #1 preview. Danny Rand returns to save the legacy of the Iron Fist. And of course, this is the first look from Marvel, which is going to be on shelves September 10th. There's some unlettered pages here, of which, if you're watching the video version, you can see, or as I'm passing by. So, yeah. And it basically talks about what happens when the book starts, which we're not going to go into. Some more unlettered pages, yeah, looks cool. I would still rather see a different Iron Fist, but hey, you know what? We'll probably read it either way. Next up.
So apparently we're jumping deeper into Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme of Asgard, because Marvel's launching a new series with Derek Landy and Ivan Fiorelli. Landy writing and Ivan Fiorelli on art. as Stephen Strange embarks on adventures in Asgard and beyond this December in Doctor Strange, a new ongoing comic book series. Let's see here. Exploring the character's bold new status quo as Sorcerer Supreme of Asgard. Okay.
Yep. You see the cover right there. Which, I guess, just makes sense because when we last left Stephen, he was kind of stuck there thanks to One World into Doom, technically.
Right. So apparently, at least in the text of this, article / solicitation, Stephen Strange is stranded on Asgard right now. So that's interesting.
Yeah, because like I said, we found that out at the end of Doctor Strange and Asgard. So yeah. Oh yeah, and it also mentions the Doctor Strange legacy issue that is coming up next month too. So which is sound like it's going to be a prelude to it. So cool. Von Gloom says hopefully Breville will give him a chance because Claremont has to be one of the oldest writers currently. Don't be ageist. I'm just kidding. Writers currently churning out work. I mean, maybe that's why Claremont meant to do. We don't know. Doom's fit would have hit more if he actually wore normal clothes versus drip over armor. Yeah, suppose so. Some interesting news that I came across recently, or yesterday to be specific. DC's Batman Beyond meets Static Shock, for those unaware, in explosive new Elseworlds series. So Batman Static Beyond promises to, so there is a thing. It's going to be written by Evan Narcisse with art by Nicholas Draper Ivey, who did the last Static Shock story, which was Static Shadows of Dakota, which is actually pretty good, actually. The series unites Terry McGinnis. Y'all know who the fuck Batman Beyond is. And Virgil Hawkins. Let's see. In a futuristic team up unlike anything fans have ever seen before, according to this article. The debut issue catches up with Terry and Virgil separately. And I guess, shenanigans happens, which puts them together. So, and there it is. And there's some art from it. As I'm scrolling through this article, and I believe I did give the November 12th is when this 6-issue limited series is going to come out or start coming out. Next up, agreed, Von Gloom. Go ahead.
Okay. Mark Waid has brought back a classic DC Comics character to Action Comics. Spoiler alert, it's Captain Comet and a big round let's do a big round of
Who?
Thank you, Korath. Yeah, as of Action Comics 1089.
Not gonna lie, when I read this, I thought it said Captain Carrot. And I was like, that's still what? But also, yeah. Okay. Also, and I think that's in Captain Carrot, Marvel. I don't remember. Either way. Yeah. Draper Ivory for the art for the win, indeed. Now we get into some toy news with Green Lantern Kyle Rayner returns with new XM Studios statue. You can see said statue if you're watching the video version. It will be priced $89. Oh Lord, nope. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I missed a digit. $889.99 and limited to 499 pieces. I like Kyle Rayner not that much.
That's got to be a big statue.
I'm sorry. This is my apologies. I didn't look at the timestamp on this damn thing. This is old news, like a couple of years old news. So disregard.
Oh my God, that's 2022.
Yeah, so disregard that. I thought that was something new. My apologies.
You want to take the next one?
Sure.
Since you made a mistake with that news, you can go ahead.
Mistake with that one. Hey, guess what, folks? 89 Batman retro Batmobile vehicle is out there from Spin Master, or will be out there actually. So, and I guess you can pre-order it now from one of those toy places. Spinmaster, catch it. So yeah, here's the Tumbler or the Batmobile from '89 Batman. You know, with Batman figure. Yeah, sure. Next up.
Marvel Legends Spider-Man retro cardback reissues are now online at Walmart for those who missed out on Rhino, J. Jonah Jameson, Sandman, and Kraven. I actually got the Rhino like on the secondhand market, but it might be nice to get the J. Jonah from Walmart. Even though there is no Walmart near me, I can always order it online. So,
yeah, if not, holla at me. I'm sure I can look it up next time I go in there. But yeah, and hopefully he's still wanting to get pictures of Spider-Man because that joke doesn't play out. Next up, though, Hasbro Legends Gameverse, Marvel's War Machine, and Mega Red 2-pack is in stock in case you're looking for that one. Yeah, there it is. Next up, and of course also shipping from Walmart.
Right. McFarlane Toys announces a new Marvel Comics Spider-Man #1 statue. This is a new 1:6 scale Spider-Man statue inspired by the iconic 1990 Spider-Man #1 cover by Todd McFarlane himself. You can take a look at that and see if you're into this kind of statue. I see these statues, you know, like in places like Best Buy, so that's kind of cool.
They've gotten big into doing selling those statues. So, the Fantastic Four First Steps Galactus 1/20th scale statue has been revealed. It is 29 inches tall and, of course, has detailed minis of Silver Surfer and all 4 members of the Fantastic Four. Swappable head for Invisible Woman, Invisible Sculpt, add display options for collectors according to this. And this is a hand-painted $1,000 collectible, which is set to...
That makes sense. That's a G right there. That's got to be. For the big G, you got to pay a G.
Indeed. And people balk about that popcorn bucket. But it's set to release in September 26th, according to this article, with payment plans available. And pre-orders are live for that. So yeah, if you're watching the video version, this is from Iron Studios, by the by, if that wasn't said. So yeah, there you go. There's Galactus, there's Sue in hand, there's Charlotte Ball, Silver Surfer, of course, you know, and the rest of the crew, and various posed and various yeah. So there you go. If you get that, holla at us. Let us know. We need to know who's got kind of disposable income. Next up, though,
Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls will not be out for a while as a video game, but developer Arc System Works already has an ambitious plan to make it one of the longest-running fighting games of all time. The 4 versus 4 fighter pitting Marvel's mightiest heroes and villains against each other was in the spotlight during EVO 2025. And during a panel segment, producer Takeshi Yamanaka and PlayStation's Reed Baird spoke about their goal to support the game for the next decade. So, you know, it's an ambitious goal for the Marvel fighting game, but not entirely impossible. For comparison, Capcom has supported its last 3 mainline Street Fighter games for several years after launch, with gameplay overhauls and new characters. Okay.
And that's the thing. Especially, you got a game like this with the roster of Marvel. Come on, you can absolutely. 10 years is definitely a long time, but yeah, they could probably do it now. And it's not saying something's going to happen every year, but you know, yeah, I can see this. I can see that happening. So next up, Marvel RPG and Marvel Rivals collide in a new tabletop one-shop coming in March 2026. It is called Marvel Rivals Time Stream Adventure. Includes a downloadable quick start resource and an official prequel to the comic to Marvel Rivals, and of course there is a comic to Marvel Rivals out there as well. Which also, by the by, there is, if you probably go to marvel.com/Marvel RPG or whatever that site or whatever that is. I know there is a Thunderbolts. I think one shot that is out there, and also like character sheets for Marvel Rivals and some stuff out there for free from a couple other expansions or one shots that's out there. The if you're still running campaigns in the RPG at this point, you probably already know about that. But if not, and you want to check that stuff out, I do so. Some good stuff. So yeah, check that out. Again, March 2026 is when the next is when that one's going to be. There's actually another one that I forgot to put in the lineup that's actually coming sooner than that. I think it's an Adventures expansion that is also coming out sometime this year. Now that I think about it, but I have to look back into on that. Next up.
Star Wars' most popular planet gets a masterful tribute in a must-see 170,000 piece Lego creation. This was highlighted by Instagram's Beyond the Brick TV, a Lego master builder operating under the name Yoda's Vodka Lego MOCs has assembled an absolutely jaw-dropping diorama, a 170,000 piece tribute to the desert planet that started it all. It is, let's see here. You can see it on the Beyond the Brick TV on Instagram. It's, this is a pretty cool diorama, man.
Yeah. I was going to say something snarky about it, and I probably still will, but it is definitely it's a great piece of work. Let's be very, very honest with ourselves with this. Like, that is impressive work. Transformers farewells iconic Hasbro toy series with new take on fan favorite Decepticon. And I don't know who this is because this is definitely not a G1 character. So Hasbro's Transformers Earthspark Deluxe Class Chaos Terran Spitfire is the newest toy for the Chaos Terran Spitfire character from the corresponding cartoon. Reflecting her later inclusion in the animated series, this is only the second Spitfire in 2 years, with the line as a whole winding down. Let's see, more complex than the previous figure for the character. It also incorporates a special gimmick guaranteed to add extra play appeal to her latest toy. And if you're watching the video version, you can see said character. So there you go. Next up.
A new G1 Transformers retro figure is coming soon from Hasbro as Autobot Brawn is ready for action in retro packaging. So pre-orders are already live online, and he's priced at $24.97 with an October 2025 release. He stands at 5 inches tall, and he transforms in 27 steps or something like that. 23 steps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is this is Autobot Brawn. I believe he's supposed to be a Land Rover, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, or one of those old whatever type Jeeps or something. Yeah.
Right.
Sure. Yeah. But that's cool. Iron Studios debuts new Transformers Optimus Prime 120 statue. It's 13.5 inches. It's hand painted collectible. It is $405, and pre-orders are out there now. And of course, here are pics of said statue. So there you go. And also, if I didn't say, from Iron Studios, which I think I did say. Next up.
G.I. Joe Sci-Fi, real name Seymour P. Fine, really? That was his real name? Is the team's laser trooper, known for his pinpoint accuracy, steady hands, and love for high-tech weaponry. He debuted in the 1986 wave of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. Probably just after I got out of G.I. Joe. Like collecting, like actively collecting.
Right.
I might have picked up a figure here and there, but I definitely was out, I think, when Sci-Fi debuted.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cool that he's got a classified figure now.
Yeah, $24.99, January 2026. There you go. Let's see. UVS previews new Universes CCG TMNT set. Let's see. The Turtles are getting a CCG or a set in Universal CCG, which I don't think I've ever heard of. This is Gen Con news. Let's see. The pre-order was from back in April and is headed for in August. Actually, comes out tomorrow as of we're recording this. Actually, today as of we're recording this, because we just crossed over into midnight or past midnight. It's 180 cards with new and classic turtle art with art, new classic turtles with art from Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, the 80s cartoons, action figures, and more. There's a starter deck, which includes all 4 turtles and a retro art foil card, as well as Splinter in a foil treatment. And yeah, catch it. Next up.
A full trailer has been released for the upcoming Doctor Who story set to reunite fan favorite stars Billy Piper and Christopher Eccleston. The 2 actors who portray Rose Tyler and the 9th Doctor respectively have not appeared together in the Doctor Who universe since they were both part of the first season of the 2005 revival of the show. The new adventure is the first episode in a run of 12 stories that will see Rose, the Doctor, and some old friends and allies working together as they battle a variety of familiar and new faces from the franchise's history. Okay.
Destro. That's funny. A classic 1989 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toy is making a comeback on Amazon. Let's see. And it is the Classic Sewer playset from Playmates. Is that what it is? Oh, it's an Amazon exclusive according to this. Amazon is a sponsor, but we're not getting anything from this trust. So you can see pics of the playset right here as I'm scrolling through it. And maybe it's not Playmates, but whatever. It is $74.99 and it's set to be released on September 1st, 2025. So, you know, if you're a collector and whatnot, and probably got an eBay shop, grab a couple of those. I don't know what you do with your life, but handle that. Next up.
So Godzilla, there's a couple of Godzilla projects in development right now. There is a sequel to -1 and the sequel to Godzilla X Kong, at least for now, titled Supernova. Those are both currently in development. Ahead of Godzilla's return, the King of the Monsters gets an adorable new plushie. Aww. The Kaiju's latest plushie is a massive sleeping Godzilla. You can put him in the middle of the Colosseum in Rome. The cute nap taker is a whopping 25.5 inches long. While this Godzilla isn't based on any one film in particular, it does take inspiration from the Japanese Toho side of the famous franchise. The plushie will be $75 and is set to release in October. Damn.
I mean, you could also say that it could be Manila, or here in the States, as we call them, Godzuki. If you want to go that far, but no, it is very cute though. That's a lot of money. And I'm pretty sure that, you know, the plushie market is large and there will be people who will buy the...
Of course.
So I'm not even throwing any kind of shade. But last but not least, first look at Magic the Gathering Avatar: The Last Airbender. I watched the weekly Magic show to watch some of this, and it was great to see a bunch of the cards that they showed. I still have an issue with one myself, but that's all beside the part, and we still haven't seen the whole set yet. But the set is scheduled to launch on November 21st. There is a Cabbage Guy card, by the way, and that was one thing I was hoping for. So they did right. It sounds like they were doing right by the show and the story in the show and everything. So they did a whole lot of things right. And a bunch of booster sets and commander sets. Wait, I'm not sure if there's collector's boosters, playbook boosters, jumpstart kit sets, starter decks. For each of the main characters and the main the main, well, who ended up being the other main antagonist, not the main one. If you watch the thing, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, a lot of preview cards have been shown up since San Diego, and yeah, I am looking forward to that set because I'm pretty sure I will be getting a lot of these cards. And that, folks, is it for the news for the week. Before we go into news section, Bon Bloom said, when are they going to bring back Flamebird? And I feel like that is a name that has actually come back, but I don't know. And it also says that he needs a Kyle Ringner figure with anime-inspired constructs, which, yeah, that would be definitely fitting for that character. And with that, let us get into our last ad read.
Our last ad read of the night. Keep our podcast free by shopping at Amazon. Visit cspn.us, then click the Keep Our Podcast Free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down and click on the Amazon link to shop. Purchase items from Amazon as you normally would, whether it's books, music, electronics, jewelry, apparel, or Marvel Legends. For every purchase made on Amazon through our link, Amazon sends the CSPN a payment that helps us keep the Comic Book Chronicles podcast free for our listeners at no extra cost to you. Amazon.com through CSPN.us. Do it today.
All right, folks, that is it for this week. I hope that... Oh, wait. I believe Peacemaker is next week or week after next. I want to say Peacemaker is definitely... Peacemaker is absolutely soon. I think it might be the 26th, actually. I might be wrong. So it might be 2 weeks from now. Yeah, I think it's 2 weeks from now, actually. So we're not going to worry about that until that happens. So ignore what I was about to say. But regardless, we are still back in the building and back on track. And we will be back next week with another fine show at the same bat time, same bat channel. I have been... Wait, I'm sorry. You...
No, I just wanted to say that, you know, it's taken me a while to get back on track just with regular life coming back from San Diego. I still have not yet posted anything on socials, any of my photos from San Diego Comic-Con. So I hope to be able to do that probably, you know, like in bits and pieces over the next several days, maybe over the next week, you know, trying to cover my experience over the course of several posts. But yeah, it was a great time, you know. Go back and listen to our shows talking about our San Diego, you know, experience and news. All right.
Yeah. I have been Roddykat. You can find me at Roddykat on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can find me at CBCaps on Instagram. Agent_70 you can find on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, all of that joint. Yeah, don't pester him, but you know, be like, hey. If he doesn't do it by next week, kind of just nudge him, be like, hey, where the pics at, yo? But,
exactly.
But the man's busy, so don't be too harsh on him. So you can also find this here show on CSPN.us.
Do it today.
You can also find us on your podcast perusal place of choice, whether it be Apple iTunes, but whether also called Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the Coastal of the Podcast Network's SoundCloud page.
Make sure to click like, subscribe, and leave us all the positive 5-star reviews, especially on Apple Podcasts, because that helps people find our show.
Yep, and of course, every week we record these things on youtube.com/TheClickNation and twitch.tv/Comic Book Chronicles. We thank folks for coming out live or in audio, however you, you know, take in this show.
Absolutely. Please hit like, subscribe, hit that notification button so you know that when we are on live, and leave us positive reviews.
Smash that like button. And yes, I feel that there might be if nothing else, because I did promise a Fantastic Four stream and a Captain America stream. It's getting farther away from that. And if I can find a Superman game that I would rather play. Actually, I might have a working copy of the arcade one. That one wasn't terribly bad. Maybe a Superman game would be played, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff that I got lined up. But also, definitely a Marvel Heroes stream is coming very since they updated the private server. I think that's going to come up very, very soon. So I love that game. I can't wait to get. I always enjoy playing that. But yeah, if you want to check out, see more of Marvel Heroes, the now defunct game, you know, stay tuned. There will definitely be a stream of it, as well as other things. But with that, folks, we will be back next week. So the only thing I say is I always say, This has been the Comic Book Chronicles. Peace.
Peace. One.
Almost over, y'all. Jigger. I really stand. Lights out.
Good evening, Rick. Would you believe it's Dr. Doom?
What's on your evil mind?